Last weekend, Maru and Serral played against each other in the semifinals of the $50,000 King of Battles tournament. As always, there were fireworks, and I'm gonna cover my favorite game in the series for you guys. If you do enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Now, a quick question for you guys is that recently I've been uploading so many banger TvZs. You know, we had Maru, Björn, Clem, all of it against, Serral, Rainer, just the best Zergs. But I really would like to have some more cool TVP content, but I feel like there are just not as many TVP bangers out there. So if you guys do really see an awesome TVP game, a TVP banger by one of the top Terrans in the world, please let me know in the comments so I can actually go over it and cover it, because TVZs are awesome, but obviously I would like to have some TVP as well. Because if TVPs are bangers, they can truly be bangers, but just, yeah, most of the time I watch, they kind of end up being, 7-minute either side wins, which is not quite as interesting for the channel, so yeah. And here we see once again CC first. I feel like in the last 4 or 5 POV analyses I did, Terran's always played CC first. So, and every time I'm kind of surprised again, but yeah, I guess it is still really popular. Now, one thing I can tell you guys about this series from Maru, and what I've seen from him in general, is that we covered a lot of his Ghost Mech stuff, but it seems like he's finally kind of over it in a way. Like, he's been playing Bio pretty much every single game. I think I saw one mech game of him recently, and besides that it was all Bio. I'm pretty sure in this entire best of 5 he only played Bio, and that is very interesting because his mech win rate seems to be really high. He seems to be pretty confident in and have figured it out. But now I guess we're just back to playing Bio, which is pretty cool because I do think Maru is kind of like the golden standard for Terran, especially for macro games. So to see Maru go back to Bio after playing mech, it feels like we can learn so much more from him, because we did, study a lot of his mech games already, and now we can study his Bio games once again with his new inventions and stuff, which is just fantastic. Now, again, for CC First into Reaper, this is the safest version. Like I always say, CC First is really good against Pool First. That's mostly why people do it, but if you go for a Marine right away without a wall off, you will probably still die to 6 Zerglings, right? So if you want to be completely safe, you do have to go for that Reaper. Now, Maru is going to go for an extremely fast third command center. That's actually pretty crazy, because he does have 2 gas and he has the 3rd CC. This is one of the benefits of CC First that I have been using myself. Normally, if you play 2 gas, you cannot afford the 3rd CC very fast. But with a CC First, you actually can, because you delay your units a little bit. You have a few more SCVs and mules early, right, from that orbital. And you can actually afford to get that 3rd CC fast and tech up at the same time. Obviously, a CC First can be a little bit greedy against fast Talons and stuff, but overall, it is a pretty safe and acceptable build. He's making a tech lab on this, making me wondering if he's gonna go for Banshees. I feel like even though we have seen Maru play Bio for a long time, it seemed like Bio was actually his mind game. Like, you know how, for example, in TvT, Bio and mech openers look the same. So if you sometimes play mech, your opponents will not expect it, and you can use it as a mind game. I feel like Maru's mech was so good. He was always playing mech, always opening battlecruisers. And then, if he wanted to mind game, he would just go battlecruiser into Bio, and everyone would just expect him to play mech. But this game, he's actually just going for Viking with Cloak, which is very standard. To be honest, he's probably going to cancel that Cloak if I had to guess, because the Speed Overlord has seen it. Now he's going to go for 2 barracks. If he cancels his Cloak, this is literally going to be like the most standard build ever. Viking into 3 ranks. And that is, very different from Maru has been showing us. No battlecruiser mind games, no proxy 2-rack shenanigans, nothing like that. And he does cancel the Cloak. He could make a Liberator from this still if he wants to. He's just going to decide to fly it away. Very, very standard stuff from Maru. And it sounds weird to say that it surprises me, because he is a macro player. But he definitely does like his weird openers. Like, in the global finals this year, he was playing consistently Marine drops into Battlecruiser. We've seen him do so many proxy racks over the years. Also, this is an interesting way to do his build. He's going to get his barracks and his E-base before the gases. Now, this doesn't seem huge, but because he did CC first and he got the 2nd gas fast, you can see he still has a lot of gas. These are just details that you might otherwise not notice. That's why I'm touching on it so much. Normally, you always get your gases before the barracks. But now he actually managed to get all of it before the gases, so he's probably gonna have an extremely strong 1-1 push with, just a bunch of extra Marines. Which is a cool benefit of this build that I was not aware of before, to be honest. Admittedly, I always feel like CC First is a really good mech build, so I haven't actually played CC First into Bio that much. Probably I have like a little years ago, but not recently anyway. Now let's see what Maru's gonna do now. If I had to guess, I think he's gonna push out with those medevacs and maybe hit a follow-up push once he has a few more tanks out. Or did he only make one medevac on accident? Oh, he did. That is so cursed, guys. I'm so glad to know Maru does that too. You expect 2 medevacs to finish so you can do a draw, but only 1 finishes. Like, that is legitimately one of the most cursed Terran moments you can have. Absolutely terrible feeling. Now, Serral's playing completely standard so far. He went for a lair before upgrades as he usually does, so he can get his bailing speed fast. Doesn't want to die to anything crazy. And yeah, we honestly haven't seen anything out of the ordinary from him so far. And that is actually to be expected from Serral. I feel like Serral could be called the most standard player ever. Like, he's actually the one who always wants to react, always wants to play safe, doesn't like risks. So yeah. Now, one disadvantage of not making a Banshee or anything is that you cannot really control these watchtowers too well. Like, you need to use your Hellions for it. Though in this point, he would way rather have his Hellions with his army. If you had a Banshee, you can actually control the right side of the map pretty easily. And we're just going to go in here with his actually 2 medevacs. I was just going to say his 1 medevac push, but there's 2 more on the follow-up. Takes a very good position here. It is pretty common to see Zergs actually kill those rocks. I guess he tried to kill them, but he didn't have time. Now, Serral seems to have enough units for this, but with the Hellbats and the tank in the good position, this might still end up being a good trade for Maru. No, I'm not going to jump back, but notice he's making his 4th CC as well very fast, before 7 minutes, before taking any gases on his 3rd base. Now, this is a push without combat shield, so those Marines would literally get one-shot by the Banelings. Needs to be very careful there. And be careful for the Queens too. Are you sure you want to drop there? Queens are pretty strong, man. Now, Serral was not really targeting the medevac, so that's good. For Maru. Let's get... Please don't lose that medevac. Okay, thank goodness. Actually, a really good trade for Maru there, surprisingly. Look at that units loss. 750 against 2500. Didn't look like it was going to go that well. Now, Serral is doing the sneakiest Zerg tactic that Zergs always do on atmospheres. They morph Banelings in between the bushes on the line of sight blockers. Maru does have a few units here, though. Let's see how fast he reacts. Does he need to react? Oh, well. I think Serral could have actually clicked into the mineral line. The last 2 Banelings would have connected, I think. So everything so far working out pretty well for Maru. He's getting a 2nd factory at home. I'll look back at the build after this engagement. Let's see how it goes. As long as the Marines don't get hit, it's fine. That was only 1 tank, by the way. Like, all of his tanks are at home. He only used 1 tank for that entire fight, which is actually very impressive to get a good trade with that. I feel like more often than not, you would just get mopped up right away. Now, look at what he did. He had a 4th CC, a factory, and then his extra gases. So, his expansion is actually going to be really fast. And yeah, what he gave up for that is basically just not being able to all-in on 3 bases. But we know Maru. Maru likes his late game, as you can see. He's getting his drilling claws already. So this is the way Maru does his transition. He gets drilling claws on the main factory and then makes the reactor on the 2nd. You can actually switch this around. I do see a lot of potential problems here, by the way, guys, because this factory, let me explain to you. This factory, if this barracks makes an add-on, the tanks will not be able to finish from this factory. And now, I didn't watch this entire game live, but I do remember something like his tanks being stuck, and now I can already see it happen. Because yeah, this barrack should not have been built there, because it's just going to block the factory. Or you have to make it add-onless, which, yeah, that sucks. Now notice Maru is up to 82 SCVs. One thing that I really learned from Maru that is actually a fantastic tip I can give you guys for macro games that really works, is that when I'm on 3 bases and I want to play a macro game, which means, yeah, go up to the late game, get ghost and stuff, Maru always keeps making SCVs on 3 bases, so by the time he lands his 4th, you can see it's just a PF, it's already fully saturated. 21 SCVs on this base, 22 with this one, which is just a perfect saturation, 84 SCVs. And I feel like it used to be common to just stop at like 67, wait for your 4th to land and then make more SCVs. But the way Maru does it, it always feels like you're economically in such a good spot if you just keep on making those SCVs when you're on 3 bases. And you can see the Ghost Academy is going to come down. This factory is indeed blocked, so that is probably going to be very painful. Now, let's see how many CCs he makes, how many units he makes, which units and stuff. That's going to be the most interesting part here. Right now, he has 40 Marines. Now, I know from experience, from watching Maru, that he doesn't like to keep a big Marine count like that. So I'm wondering if he's actually going to sacrifice them, or if he will just keep them and try to get good trades. Because at some point, he wants to end up with Marauder Mine Ghost, pretty much. Now, he's going to see the Hydras for the first time. And these days, to be honest, Hydras just mean that Lurkers are going to be on the way soon. Like, Hydras are good for a little period, but after that, you really want to make Lurkers. So that, to me, means that Maru is going to start Ghost production soon. Now, interestingly enough, he is still making Marines. This is not the Maru I know. I feel like he usually stops making Marines and goes for pure Marauder Ghost Mine. But since there are so many Lings alive still, and I guess Marines are also pretty good against Hydras, it does make sense in some way. Though he needs to be very careful with that, and I'm not criticizing Maru here, I'm just saying, like, he knows what to do, so at some point he's gonna stop making Marines. And I want to know exactly when it is, because if Lurkers come out and you have too many Marines, your army is just trash. Like, there's no other way to put it. If you have too many Marines out and there's Lurkers, you literally get one tapped, and that is not what you want to have happen. Now, let's see how many CCs he has. He only has 6 so far. He's 1 in the main here, and now he's adding 2 more, so he's gonna go up to the magical 8. Notice how well he has denied the creep, by the way. The creep literally stops here. If you look on the minimap, the creep literally just stops at this line of like the, you know, not even the middle, just like Serral's rocks basically. The creep stops here at these rocks and hasn't even reached these rocks yet. A really good creep denial. At the same time, he's trying to take care of denying the 6th base, which honestly is probably not a huge deal, but you always, be careful with those. Okay, you always want to put at least some pressure on. If Zerg gets away with everything, you're going to have a very bad time. So at least he's denying the 6th base. I mean, if you look at the income, Serral still has a really good income, of course. Just slightly better than Maru at this point. Might change once Maru gets this 5th base down. But yeah, for now he's doing a good job with that. One thing that is very important, however, is denying the corner bases in the end. So since I know Maru is setting up for a late game, denying this base basically means you're denying this base as well, because they would never get that before getting this. And denying the corner base is really essential for that late game. Keep in mind the rules. If Zerg has more bases than you, you're going to be in trouble. You want to try to keep it even. So denying the corner bases for as long as you can. Yeah, it's just a move you have to do, because then you can maybe take them yourself later before they actually got mined out. There's just a few units stuck here. Not sure what he's going to do with those. Now let's see. Maru has 14 ghosts already. It's actually sick how many ghosts are out. Like, Maru has not seen a single lurker at this point. I mean, he knows they're on the way, but he has not seen a single lurker. But still, he already has 14 ghosts, which is quite impressive. Now, I wonder if he's going to go for the factory transition at some point. That's actually a thing I've been doubting so much. Like, Maru has really been playing around with making like 8 factories and mass stores against Broodlord in the late game. But I still just do really not like that style. And I wonder if Maru, now he has, you know, new inventions and all that, if he's still gonna go for that Thor style. Now, I like how he always kept position here just by having a few mines burrowed. Oh, these ghosts look like they might be in trouble a little bit here. Let's see. Pretty decent mine hit. Okay, this base is gonna be gone, but honestly, it is probably not the biggest deal. He's still gonna have 75 SCVs or so after that. And he was busy cleaning up lurkers at home at the same time. He actually uses snipes on Banelings. That is cool. I was always wondering if that was worth it, you know, because it's... I mean, a Baneling is like, what is it, 50-25, which is, you know, it's worth something. It's almost a roach. So it's probably worth it, but at the same time, it feels stupid. Oh... Now, this could have been a game ender, by the way. This looks like a small move. He scans it, but he's not going to kill it. That makes me worry a little bit. Okay, there we go. This thing could have killed 20 ghosts, right? And the game would end. I have actually seen it happen. I would like to say I saw that in Serral against Beastie Cutie. And this is legit 6 years ago on the Galactic Process. I don't know why I remember this moment. I think it was those 2 players. I'm not 100% sure. Now, Maru does have enough CCs to replace that. Is he just building one? Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Let's see. But you know, I do feel like Maru really is not as much in a rush of making orbitals as I thought he would be. Like, I feel like at this point, Sol would be on 15 orbitals, you know, but Maru is 5. And yeah, I mean, like I always say, guys, I criticize the people I do the POV analysis on, but with Maru's late game, it feels really stupid to question him, because he is unarguably the best late game player, at least as a Terran and maybe of all the races, so... I guess I'll just follow and see what he does. Ooh. Wait, oh, that was actually... That was double pain. I don't know if you guys realize what happened. Serral knurled the ghost, EMP'd the back of the ghost, and then Maru's mine shot the knurled ghost and hit his own ghost as well. That was actually double painful. And this looks like a very bad engagement for Maru here. Oh, the Medivacs are getting absolutely annihilated by a parasitic bomb. And I don't even know if Maru really killed anything there, besides the Banelings detonating themselves. And that doesn't seem like a good trade. Let's see what a units loss is now. 15.7k against 23.2. So a decent difference. I would say that is relatively even for a TvZ. But keep in mind that Serral now has this corner base, and Maru has not been able to deny any of the bases, so Serral, he has mined a little bit more. But if you look at the banks, this is honestly a completely fine position for Terran to be in. The only problem here for Maru would be is if he would ever lose these ghosts, because we're building those. Yeah, it would easily deplete his entire bank, and yeah, more. Like, it would deplete his bank for 2 minutes to come, probably. Now, Serral's keeping the pressure on. Serral has also not made Broodlords yet, similar to Raynor. What game did we cast? I think it was Raynor against Beyond, where Raynor also took a very long time to go to Broodlords. Serral usually goes a bit faster. He does have the Greater Spire. I don't think he has any Corruptors yet, though. No Corruptors on the field. Maybe after he loses these Banelings. Let's see, he's gonna kill the PF here. You know, I always think in a regular active bio game, these moves by Zerg are so good. Because if you lose your 4th base, even if it's 25 Banelings, you're just gonna die later. You just don't have the money. But in this case, when Maru is already on 6 bases, I actually don't know if that is still a good move to do. I feel like if he killed this base at the same time as this, then suddenly Maru would be in a rough economic spot. But for now, it really doesn't seem like Maru is having too much trouble economically, to be fair, especially with this bank. Ooh, those SCVs though. Okay, that is a lot of SCVs to go down. And now he's gonna kill this PF as well. Now it's starting to become a bit questionable, but still, Maru is on 77 SCVs. He has 5 bases up. And I'm actually not sure if that... You see, now the difference is already 10k. Now he also has space to deny this base on the left, or on the right side rather. And Serral is going to take the other corner base at the same time. So, what is hard on this map, what is a bit of a challenge for Zerg, is that Terran will usually get this base and this base, as you see that's happening right now. This one is a bit harder to take, but they get this one for sure. And pushing from here to the top left is relatively easy. So once Terran gets to this 5-6 base situation, it is actually quite tough for Zergs to get control of those corner bases. Like, even this base is pretty rough. Like, you could put 1 tank here, for example. And you already need to use your Vipers, but then the Ghosts are nearby and it's scary, etc, etc. Now, Maru's on 14 Ghosts, and if you look at the production tab, he's actually not making any more at all. Hey, wait, it's actually happening what I said. The tank is actually just stuck forever. Ooh, that's a lot of Banelings, gotta be careful. Oh, the fungal on the Ghost is huge! Wow, that was a massive fight by Serral there. The most valuable thing you can kill is the Ghost. If you ever get to the Ghost count, it's rough. You see Maru instantly has to remake those. Probably 2 cycles. But like I was saying, I was just gonna touch on how I really loved that Maru is making both tanks and mines. Because I feel like Terrans usually make one or the other. But his tank is stuck, just like I predicted. Just because this barracks is blocking it. And here there's actually no solution for it. In some situations, you can actually solve this by making a depot in between the space. But there's no space for it, and even if the depot fit there, it wouldn't be able to pop out anywhere else. But those mines were actually disgusting there. I'm a bit shocked that this is an orbital, by the way. Like, I know he's lost a lot of CCs. How many orbitals does he have? He has 6 orbitals, 1 PF. I would kind of expect Maru to make some more CCs at this point. Like, I feel like you want to get at least close to 10 command centers. Now, Serral did actually not make any lurkers, right? Except for, like, the first 4 that he dropped. That is kind of surprising. I feel like Zergs usually really, like to play with the lurkers, especially when they have a decent start to the game. They can overwhelm you pretty easily. But this game, I really feel like he only made a bunch, dropped them in the bases, and just like that, he never made them again. And that is honestly a testament to how good Maru is, because I'm sure if it was me and my late game skills would not be as good, he would probably have made 20 lurkers and overran me at some point, But against Maru, too much respect. And how many ghosts are we on right now? 18 ghosts. He made even more than I thought he would. Now, so far, he hasn't made any extra factories. He's still on just the 2. And that is probably because he hasn't seen any Broodlords yet. The Greatest Spire is out, but Serral's never used it, funny enough. And I would love to hear Serral's thoughts on this moment to... wonder how this game is going for him, how he feels about it, because he's killing a lot of bases, but at the same time, he has never dealt any, like, critical damage. And yeah, at the same, Maru is still just chilling on 6 bases, and now he's even gonna get the corner base with that CC. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, once Terran gets the corner base, and their late game is as good as Maru's, I don't know if you're still gonna win. I actually legitimately wonder if someone could beat Maru in a split base situation. Like... if Serral is 1 or 2 bases up, totally, because Serral's late game is freaking insane. But Maru's late game is so good that if you're 50-50 with the Terran, like let's say Terran gets this, and Zerg get this, and this, basically what's going on right now. I do wonder if anyone can beat Maru in that situation, because that just seems terrifying. And also, once you get this watchtower, you can push pretty easily to here. And I feel like it's a bit easier for Terran to do in this situation because... Well, this is an orbital actually, never mind. I was going to say, if this is a PF, you do always need to waste Banelings to kill it pretty much. Unless you have Ultras or something, which is not the best unit to make when there's 18 ghosts on the field. But Terran can usually just send a few units there. They don't really need, you know, Banelings or like to sacrifice any units to kill it. Now, Serral has been very good with these Infestors. Probably going to get a big fungal. That is a big fungal. You could actually go for that because the ghosts were in the back. But honestly, wisely decides to back off. Because you never know where the ghosts are, right? Unless he had like burrowed links everywhere. I don't know if you guys remember Sulky. Really, really good Zerg from Heart of the Swarm. At some point, he was burrowing links everywhere just to get vision. And sometimes I see Zergs do it, and I think it's really cool. I feel like he was a bit ahead of his time doing that all the way back in 2013. Now, wait, his tank is actually still stuck, man. This has legitimately... I feel like he's missed out on like 7 siege tanks or something because that is still stuck. Now, I want to know what Serral's game plan is at this point because he... Like, actually, he has enough money to make Broodlord still. He has 5k, 5k. I honestly thought he was going to have a little bit less, but he has 5k, 5k. And he could still go for Broodlords with that. Another attempt at EMP there. I hate that you can hear that sound all over the map. It's just horrible. Simulation successful. Like, oh no. I'm about to get absolutely ruined by something. I don't know what it is, but I heard it. Serral pushing in here. This looks like a pretty strong push. This PF is not done yet. Oh, it's actually an orbital. Wow. This would be a really good place for a PF. Like, just putting a PF here basically negates the Zerg from ever attacking there. Now, Maru's up 13k in resources lost. It is still reasonable enough for Serral, but he does need another base. So far... He's mining a little bit more, because this base has been denied for Maru, and he doesn't have this base yet. So Serral, if you look at the money, you can tell he's definitely mining a bit more. But I feel like he needs to get a good push going. Like, I think he needs to kill at least this base, or maybe deny this base, and then there's might be something he can do. And now he's going for the Broodlords, but... Like I always say, guys, you need a lot of Broodlords. If he just makes 6, those are just gonna get sniped. Like, he needs to make 20. 20 Broodlords with Infestors, and he will probably overwhelm this army pretty easily. But Maru is playing Bio, so he could always drop around the Broodlords and stuff. And yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think especially when you're already maxed out, it's kind of rough to go for, because how Serral could get to a good enough Broodlord count is by sacrificing his army, and then making Corruptors, and then Broodlords. But if you sacrifice your army, Maru is probably just going to go ahead and kill another base. So I don't even know if there are opportunities to go for Broodlords right now for Serral. I do really love the way Maru uses nukes always, by the way. He just makes one. He doesn't overdo it. Just one Ghost Academy, sometimes launches a good tactical nuke, and that's it. And here we go. 3 extra factories being built. This Thor is also going to be stuck. He just canceled his tank to make a Thor, but it's still going to be stuck. And Serral not paying attention with those Infestors. Going to lose like 3 Broodlords right off the start. Let's see. Yeah, one more EMP and now it's out. And Serral needs to move in with the Banelings now. Doing it a little bit too late, though. If he timed that correctly, this totally could have worked out, but I feel like he lost 7 out of his 10 Broodlords before he even moved his units. Does get 3 ghosts there with the Banelings on the end, but that was honestly not good enough. And it sounds weird that I say that, because if you look at the supply and money, you would think, wait, wasn't that good for Serral? But it wasn't, because Serral lost his units. He has 2 Broodlords and 8 Infestors, and he's making 100 Zerglings against a guy who has all of his ghosts alive. And yeah, most importantly... This base is now not gonna die anymore. This base is not gonna die anymore. Putting Maru with pretty much at least a 50-50 situation. Especially if we can even mine from this base, which still has 1k minerals and 500 gas left. Yeah, and now he's making lurkers. I don't know. I do feel like Serral does not quite know what he wanted to do. If he wanted to go for the Broodlords, he should have made more. Or he should have taken a good fight all at once. But he was kind of challenging 20 goes with 10 Broodlords. And yeah, really not the greatest moves there. Now, keep in mind, both of these players are playing on ping. As usual, this is a cross-server game, so Serral maybe had a bit of trouble with the ping, trying to get the Infestors involved. The Korean Terrans are so good at those scans, by the way. Every time I see Zergs play with burrowed Infestors, it seems like so scary. But the Korean Terrans, more often than not, they just scan them and snipe them, and it seems like a stupid move. This one is next to a turret, so I imagine he will see that one. How many orbitals does he have? Okay, these are actually PFs now. And yeah, Maru's gonna mine from this base. He has some turrets here. I do love how he always sets it up. Maru never leaves a position, yeah, left for dead, basically. Like, even here, Sensor Tower, 2 turrets, 2 Liberators. It seems random. It kind of seems like a little camp that an AI would make, you know what I mean? But honestly, it's fantastic play. It's just really good. You can see it, he crawls with it all across the map. He has turrets everywhere. You can never just go in with some Corruptors or Vipers and kill his stuff for free. It's just so good. I do not have the vision to do that myself. Whenever I play these kind of games, it's kind of... I try, but... Oh my god, Zerlings are so strong. You see that? 4 Zerlings almost ravaged the ghost right there. And yeah, Serral's gonna take this base, which is a good move. He has to take that base. If he doesn't get that base, he's gonna be too far behind in the eco. But Maru's base is so close that he can easily push into it. Right now, Serral's going into his base, though. He's gonna kill his third base completely, pretty much. And a lot of his units. Supply-wise, that was a really good trade for Serral there. But the ghosts are still alive. Sniping all the banelings. Yeah, just links you probably do not want to fight against ghost medevac. One thing that I should also note is that Maru has a lot of medevacs alive. And usually, in this kind of situation in the late game where you have a lot of ghosts, medevacs are kind of forgotten. Like, you would rather spend your money on tanks, libs and stuff. But medevacs are really important to heal your ghost, because honestly, links, fungals and stuff, they can still do a really good job against ghost. Now, this looks like a bit of a sketch fight. He's really lucky there's no energy on those Vipers anymore, because a parasitic bomb there could have ruined him entirely. Now, Serral's gonna go in here. Yeah, Maru actually has nothing in the main, so this is gonna be a bit rough. He has a few lurkers. He should really bring those lurkers up. Like, I know lurkers are not the hardest counter to ghosts, but they will at least guard the position. Now, if you look at the money, Serral's actually climbing back, right? The resources lost actually a little bit more in Serral's favor now. And I mean, you know, it's still 30k in Maru's favor, but it was actually better than it was before, which is not something you would usually expect from that TvZ late game with the Ghost. Now we have some epic 1 Brute Lord harassment, and the Liberators are ticketing it. Look at that Liberator anti-air damage, guys. Oh yeah, hit it for 2 damage. That's huge. Alright, now Serral's armor here is massive. How many lurkers is this? It's only 4 lurkers and 2 of them are red. So it's probably not going to be enough to guard this position. If I was Serral here, I would probably run. Because I feel like the position here for Maru is just a little bit too strong. There's 3 tanks, 2 mines. I think that's probably about 10 ghosts there on the right side. And maybe, yeah, the rest is in the main. So it's 8 on the right and 6 on the left. And those snipes can easily get in there. Like, even the snipes from the high ground. Those lurkers are going to fall for sure. Yo, this would be a very nice... You could actually have Neural the tank and the Thor from the low ground, by the way. That's kind of a missed opportunity there by Serral. That would have been huge. Unless for some reason you can't Neural units over terrain and I did it now. Then my bad. But it would have been a really cool play if it worked. Now all the lurkers are going to go down. EMP on the Infestor. Serral's going to go in here. He's absolutely crazy. There's no way. Okay, he backs off at the right time. Maru getting Blue Flame and +3 air attack. This is a move, the Blue Flame, I'm sure a lot of you guys love. Because you hear it so often. I see it so often in my YouTube comments as well. That, you know, why not get some Blue Flame Hellbats against just a few links that are there, or the Broodlings. And Maru listened to you guys, he does it, he incorporates in his play, and it's actually a really good move. Okay, so this fight, I don't know, man. Like, Serral, the fight was pretty good for him, but I feel like Maru just has too much good stuff here. Like, this is Hydra Link Bane against a maxed army of tank, lib, ghost, with even a Thor there. And I don't know how Serral can break it. And if you look at the money, 6k in the bank for Serral, but he needed this base. Like, Maru's gonna mine this out, he's gonna mine this out. This still has money. Even reminding the remainings of Serral's base, which is a little bit of salt in the wound. And this is Serral's last plan. He's morphing 12 Broodlords. I was gonna say, well, there are only 14 ghosts out, but there's actually 20 ghosts out. There are 8 infestors. And yeah, this is Serral's last chance. Like, he's, you know, how many minerals does he have left here, really? Probably a bit more than 1,000, 2,000 minerals left. 4,000 gas, 5,000 gas. I mean, it is pretty much completely on creep. One thing that could happen is that Maru runs out of scans. I personally lose games like that all the time. I lost a game like that on stream on ladder the other day. You run out of scans, you suddenly can't snipe the Broodlords, and then, you know, it's looking really bad for you. But Maru does have all of his scans available. Wait, none of those have energy. He's moving them forward to fungal, but there's just no energy on those infestors. And yeah, I don't know, man. I like Maru. I feel like he always makes it look easy. Like, even in this situation, look at this. If I was here and the Broodlords are attacking, I would not feel very comfortable on this, because the Broodlords, I feel like they kill all my units here. My ghosts have to back off. But for some reason, when Maru does it, he does it perfect, and it always works out. Another masterclass in the late game by Maru. Beautiful play. I will try to copy it and fail as always, because that's just what we like to do. Anyways, hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.